Oh, I tell you what, if only you could see behind the scenes when that music plays. Every week we just lose it for about 30 seconds. Amazing. Hello, welcome to the News and Views with the EV Café. 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the EV Café crew and ably supported by Drax Electric Vehicles. And today, we are lucky enough to have both Sam and Paul, so this is going to be an argument fest. Sarah is on a train. Are you both well? Sam?
Yeah, you often say that your introduction's opinions on a stick. I think you are a something stirrer, I think, with that stick.
Hey, listen, we know what people tune in for. It's a bit of funner and it's a bit of aggro. So
funner fighter.
Lovely. Oh, I like it. I'm a funner, not a fighter.
Never really a contest, though, is it? That's the problem.
How are you, my friend? Are you well?
Me? Well,
yes, you, Paul.
I'm very well. It's been a busier week. A week of highs and lows and challenges and victories and all good stuff. So what a week it's been. It's been very good. So I'm a solid 9, everybody. How about you?
I was about to ask you. So a solid 9 for you, Paul. Sam?
Oh, I'm putting a brave face, but I'm knackered. So I'm probably about a 3. It's been a long week.
But is that a physical 3? Because you've just worked really, really hard. I
don't know about you guys, but the older I get, the more I do travelling to these blinking events and speaking and stuff. I come back and I'm like, bleh, for 24 hours. Never used to bother me, but now I'm always tired after travelling. So I need to sort myself out.
Yeah, it's a tough way to make a living, but we all do it because we love it. And I am definitely a solid about 8, I would say. Bit under pressure, got a lot going on, and I've got a tooth which is giving me a bit of jip, and I need to get sorted next week. But anyway, let's move on. Now then, grab a cuppa and plug in to what's happening in clean transport this week. And coming up, there's a heartfelt plea for a used electric vehicle grant ahead of November's budget. Major automakers call for the US authorities to ease tailpipe emissions rules, and we'll see what that might impact have on the UK. JLR have been subject to a massive cyber attack, which is affecting JLR, but for me, much more importantly, it's the supply chain that is affected and also could be you. So we'll dive into that. And then Chris Welsh and the Welsh Group launched their 12 Pillars of Change for zero emission freight. We'll have a look at that. But first up, the EV Café commercial collab, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry.
The commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
And applauded indeed, the AA. They have this award-winning invention, which we've seen at the EV Cafe villages over the years. It's called the Freewheeling Hub. And they've recovered 10,000 vehicles a year with this freewheeling hub. And essentially what it does is it fits around the rear wheels, usually, of a vehicle. And it allows them to tow a vehicle that otherwise might be difficult. So if you've got a four-wheel drive vehicle, some of the EVs, that you can't tow without disengaging those rear wheels, it allows them to tow with a standard van rather than getting a breakdown truck out as well. And that has saved 235 tons of CO2 every year through that tiny little invention. Brilliant. Well done, the AA. Next up, Stellantis have developed a prototype vehicle with a new battery design that integrates the charging electronics and inverter on the vehicle. It's fitted the battery to a Peugeot E3008 to perform testing and real-world evaluation, and development was carried out in partnership with Saft. The Intelligent Battery Integrated System, or IBIS as it's known, delivers a 10% energy efficiency improvement and a 15% power gain with the same size battery. Early results show a 15% reduction in charging time along with a 10% reduction in energy consumption. All of which is very interesting, and I'm going to need to dig really deep into that to understand fully the metrics. But it sounds, on the face of it, brilliant. And then finally, Kempower and EO Charging have delivered more than 300 electric bus chargers, which is great news. Well done to both. But the real headline for me is around 1,570 new zero-emission buses hitting the roads in 2024, representing a 36% year-on-year increase. Wow. For me, that's fabulous. Real investment in public transport. Boom! Tickets, please. And before we finish the commercial clap, a cheeky fourth clap, if I may, for everything electric. And over to you, Pablo.
Well, Everything Electric have seized the day and have introduced a dedicated B2B day for their brilliant consumer event. Now, they have had B2B features in the past, but this is a full-on, in partnership with Octopus Fleet, really focusing in on salary sacrifice, giving insight, so B2B sessions throughout the day with our good selves from the EV Café, Sam, me, you, JC, the AA, Electric Vehicles UK, Gridserve, National Grid, Octopus EV, Armada, JQ, ZapMap, lots of people giving insight to all of the people coming, but also really opportunities to see and drive vehicles, bums on seats sell vehicles, and people getting an experience of new electric vehicles that have been existing. And Dan Caesar, the CEO of the Fully Charged So, but also of Everything Electric, had said that the event is designed to accelerate business understanding of battery EVs. Economically and technologically, they are the superior option, but confusion is slowing uptake, and they hope to make a difference, as do we. So that is going to be a great event. It is on the 10th of October, so it's on the Friday the 10th of October at Farnborough at the International Exhibition Show there.
And am I right, Paul, there's something like 100 vehicles going to be available to look at, and some to drive as well?
Absolutely. What a list of vehicles that will be available there to see. There's about 150 vehicles on the market, I believe. Cars, that is. I mean, I don't know much about cars, you know that. But there's about 100 of them that are all going to be there. So to see, feel and touch, and the joy is driving. There'll be a lot there to drive also.
Sorry, you may notice I'm distracted. My wife has just wandered past by the pool, and, that happens. Let's move on. The Chancellor is being urged to consider introducing incentives for the used electric vehicle market, like the electric car grant for new cars, in the budget in November. The new grant, which gives buyers up to $3,750 off the price of a new EV, is helping to drive adoption rates in the retail market, with company car drivers already making the switch thanks to low benefit in-kind tax rates. The latest figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders showed that battery electric vehicle registrations grew by 15% in August compared to the previous month, as the government's new electric car grant and heavy discounting from manufacturers fueled interest. Good use of the word fueled. Paul Hollick, chair of the Association of Fleet Professionals, says support for used EVs is the trade body's number one aspiration from November's budget. With the new electric car grant successful in stimulating retail interest, he believes a similar move could play an essential role in the second-hand sector. Sam, he's bang on, isn't he? We need this sort of support in the used market.
I understand the challenge, and I get what they're trying to achieve. What I cannot wrap my head around is how. Because on a new vehicle, it's very easy to make an apportionment of cost versus its base value. With a used car, there are thousands of variables. So how on earth do you manage a commercial mechanism to do that on the used market when every vehicle, once it's rolled off the forecourt, is worth something different, right? So I just can't understand. I can't get my head around how you'd implement it.
Could you possibly use a percentage? There's a thought. So if it's, £5,000 of the retail value. Paul, you may have an insight.
VAT. Lose the VAT. So there's VAT in the sale of the vehicles, and you could potentially kind of just ditch that. That could be one way of doing it, or 50% reduction in VAT. Because then it's an apportionment of a relative value, and it moves across that, and it's directly out the government's pocket, but the government's still getting money potentially. I don't know. That would be something for me. It has been talked about in the past.
Again, the VAT on what, right? Does that mean that
on the
prices
vehicle?
Yeah, but does that mean people will inflate prices in order to get a higher VAT rate or something like that? How do you set the price, the VAT percentage on what? That's the bit I'm struggling with, is the on what? What value on are you setting?
It'll be
as a
on the
result?
vehicle. I mean, you're paying VAT on the vehicle. So, yes, there's a possibility that people could inflate prices. I mean, this has been the problem always with grants. So that you can inflate the prices on new vehicles. You can not give as much discount on a new vehicle because you're getting grants. And of course, the car makers, when they're getting £3,750 up to, of course, we don't need to discount as much now to get rid of our vehicles that we wanted to get to meet our ZEV mandate. The bigger challenge, of course, is in the van sector, where we're still struggling and people are still not talking enough, and the focus is on the car market here. But again, vans need this same support, and the van market VAT could be something that could help, but of course most van users can claim the VAT back, so it doesn't actually make any material difference. So there's a bigger challenge with vans without a VAT mechanism to be able to utilise.
I suppose the reality is that what we need to see is people buying the vehicles, and the value of electric vehicles and used electric vehicles at the moment, and indeed used vans, is comparable with their petrol and diesel variants. So whilst I absolutely support the need for giving access to EVs at affordable prices, we're actually kind of there in a lot of the market. And I do wonder sometimes whether, as you say, targeting the resources we have to encourage businesses to make that transition initially is actually where we need to be, and not just rewarding people who are going to buy one anyway, like a business who's going to buy an electric van anyway and giving them some sort of discount, but actually those who are new to this, haven't done it before, to encourage them to get their bum in a seat for the first time.
I think that's the real challenge, isn't it? It's about getting to that market that doesn't consider new ever. And there are many, 8 out of 10 sales are used in any given 12-month period. And what is needed is an educational program for not only the purchasers, but also the sellers. So the dealer groups that are typically not operating in the new sector, and there's a large proportion of those, and really helping educate and understand the value of electric vehicles, how to promote them, how to sell them. And of course, we are available as a team to come and help your dealerships and to come and. But it's true. They're trying to do it without any help, and so why not reach out and get some help?
Yeah, darn straight. Now then, reaching out and getting some help. We always do that with our community, and it is that time once more as we do the shout outs, and a very special one today. Oh, now, stop your mumping face, Sam Clark. As we start out with somebody very special, Daryl Sharp, who smashed the doors in at 8:58 this morning, which is 62 minutes earlier than the programme starts, because he was just getting overexcited, bit giddy, but he's in sunny Telford, and it's his birthday today, as I understand it. Daryl, happy birthday, my friend. Now then, I think you already have an EV Café mug. I'm pretty sure you do.
He does.
But we send hugs, love, and squeezes, oh yes, for your birthday. Well done, my friend. Lovely to see you. I think that's 2 weeks in a row you've been first in. Ron Godfrey wishing you a happy birthday in second place. And James, Screamwash King, in third. And lovely to see you as a regular contributor. If you haven't heard of Screamwash King, get on their website. Pronto,
I'm now a
pronto.
regular user of Screenwash King as well, by the way. So well done. Working a treat.
Sam, are they any good? Yes?
Yeah, doing a great job.
Yeah, there you
Very
go.
impressed.
Little tablet.
Makes life a lot
drop it
easier
in-
as well.
Perfectly. Little tablet, drop it in a washer bottle, fill up your washer bottle, away you go. Buttons. It's cheaper than the liquid, and there's none of that moving huge amounts of liquid around anyway. Let's move on, shall we, Paul? Yes, because you would never use this opportunity to speak about things that you're passionate about. Anyway, let's move on. Michael Barton. It's been I think he's with you, Sam. It's been a long week, but overall a 7 out of 10. Michael, hope you're well, my friend. Tom of the Central Dyke, otherwise known as Mr. Europe Car. He's here. Good to see you, Tom Middleditch. Happy Friday. Ash Bannister.
Central Dyke. That took me a minute. That's it. Wow. Well done. That's good.
We've only done that joke.
Sam's
about
about
50
8
million
weeks
times.
late on that. Isn't he?
I don't think I really understood it the first 8 times. I don't think, and suddenly it's clicked. I was like, oh, it's actually quite good.
Yeah, that's what intellect does for you, Sam.
Not as bright
Ash
as you think he is.
As sharp as a tube of crisps, there is Sam Clark. Ash Bannister, hello, my friend. Lulu O'Hagan, Madame Le Bonbon herself, is back. She is
Fresh
with us.
from Berlin.
We have missed you. Welcome back. Craig Stark, good morning. Sarah Sloman on a train to London. And then DEV.
Bonjour.
The daily electric vehicle Chakravarti in the house. Happy Fun of Friday. Lloyd Allen.
Lloyd Allen.
Oh, good to see you again, my friend. And hopefully we're going to be hearing from you in October even, for the webinar on the 15th of October, where you're coming along to help people make the transition and talk about local authorities and how they're doing it. He's a 6 out of 10, but that's because he's missed the EV Café for the last few weeks. Teresa Swift. Teresa, really delighted for you. Starting a new role with Stark Charge. Hopefully that's not Starker's Charge, otherwise there's trouble. Leon Gomez.
Joining us at the Fleet Mobility Live. Sorry to interrupt, as I do, but joining us at Fleet Mobility Live, Stark Charge. Could be good to see them.
Wow, that's news.
Do you know, can't wait. Leon Gomez, a 9 for you. Great to hear. Peter Lever, morning from the M40 Moto Services. Hello, Moto. On my way to Soda. That's nice. Sarah Sloman, Drax Electric Vehicles are showing some awesome footage from their party on the EV rally. They certainly were, and that was a brilliant stopover. Thanks for that, Sarah. Darren Anvona. Ooh, my gaps of attendance have become shocking. Now then, we'll have no gaps of attendance. Thank you kindly. See me after. Who else we got? Leo Pickford. Great to see you this morning. Mark Main. Always a pleasure. Liz Allen. Oh, bless. Yes, the tooth. Yes, let's not mention the tooth. Ron Godfrey, we've already mentioned Darren. In fact, Paul Shearer, Barnfather. Oh, those of big efficiency claims. Very interesting. Yes, the Stellantis article. They were big claims. I want to get underneath that. And then he's here. He's here, my friends. It's Peter Heath. Got nice teeth. Oh, yes. He's in the house from PLP. Great to see you here. Ben McDonald. The used market has so many amazing deals at the moment. You are right, and we called it out. Yeah, absolutely. Sarah Sloman is on overdrive. Her fingers are moving like nobody's business in the comments. I think we are done, my friends. Bless you for joining us.
I got a question. Ashley Bannister's put in the chat. We use screen wash tablets in all our new car driver packs at Alphabet. Great invention. Now, is it because of the connection between us that's created that?
It is.
Yes. That's collaboration. Nice.
Yeah. Ash and I had a conversation, and yes, I'm delighted that they've gone that way. And they're the first of quite a few, actually, who are going to go that way and going into driver pack. So great news. Well done. Thank you for picking it up, Sam. You are a superstar. It's 10:18. 3 stories to go. And a group representing nearly all major automakers has asked the Trump administration on Tuesday to roll back aggressive vehicle emission limits that seek to force the industry to build a rising number of electric vehicles. Oh, bless them. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents General Motors, Toyota, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and other major automakers, said in a filing with the Environmental Protection Agency that legislation signed by President Donald Trump in June will increase the effective price of EVs and could lead to a near-term decline in the EV market. They argue that rules finalised last year under President Joe Biden are no longer feasible. The 2027 and later standards are simply not achievable in the light of significant market, charging infrastructure, supply chain, affordability and other challenges, as well as recent policy changes enacted. Basically what they're saying is, oh, we're America, the land of the free, aren't we? Brilliant. But we can't do it, sir. We can't do it. Oh, doesn't it just boil your bodily fluids, Paul?
Do you know what? I think they have a point. Because, but here's the reason that they have a point.
Paul. We'll see you next week.
Vacancy.
What they've got is, so what you have to understand is Biden was particularly supportive and set targets based on that support.
Yes.
All of that support has been removed. So Trump came in and just went, don't like that. But the targets have been left in. So what Biden did was set the agenda and set out a roadmap for it and support it, and then Trump's left the agenda in, left the targets in, but you're not going to get any support. Well, that's not cricket, and I know they don't get cricket over there. That's not baseball. It's just a bit nonsense, and what it shows is that they can't coordinate, and Trump is being irrationally negative towards anything renewable, climate, all of that kind of stuff, and it's caused them a problem. So look, I have some sympathy, and it may be that the economic climate created is now negative. A lot of companies in America, and I've spoken to a few, are just kind of parking it for 4 years because Trump has been that negative. So that's my sympathy with them.
Well, on that basis, however, the things that were taken out, they should be lobbying to put back in, not go, oh, well, which way I can't do it now. Soz.
But
The thing,
I'm sorry, have you evidenced any of Trump's conversation? Once he says something, there is no turning. It's like, my opinion, I've solved 7 wars, I've done this, he just kind of, there is no discussion with Trump.
Well, there is, because if we take that approach to everything, then we will achieve nothing. And secondly, he does turn around things. I mean, his relationship with Ukraine, for example, is vastly different to what it was 6 months ago. So he, if you give him the right information, there's a half chance he might actually listen. But to just give up, Soz, can't do that.
If I might bring it back to the point really is that we know that Trump can be a loose cannon. My issue with this is that we are in desperate need of strong leadership in our world. And strong leadership means that we do have to set challenging targets. We do have to give the resources necessary to make the transition happen. And what this does is it gives an out to the car manufacturers to say, just keep doing what you're doing. And actually, the majority of the world recognises that if we keep doing the things we have always done, we are going to end up in a place we do not want to be. Something has to change. That was my point. So glad I put this story into the news. And thank you to everybody who's joined late. And I was highlighting them, but Mike Seymour from Chew Charge was the first to come in and give his apologies. So you, sir, are forgiven. And thank you for your sponsorship. However...
the rest of you lot...
Yeah, Mercia, George and Kylie, see me afterwards. You are in deep trouble, but thank you for joining us, seriously. Because that really says something. 10:20 on a Friday morning. You've been in a meeting, you've been doing other things, and you're still here. And we love you for it.
Darren Anverden has got a brilliant shout. Sean was saying Graham Cooper to set the White House and Trump straight. That has suddenly given me hope.
No, we can't do that. He's far too intelligent. Trump wouldn't understand a word.
Yeah, it does need to be words of one syllable, doesn't it?
It was definitely worth putting that story in for a Graham Cooper shout out. Now then, ministers in the UK are considering offering financial support to Jaguar Land Rover suppliers, but are understood at this stage to have ruled out a broad furlough scheme. You may have missed this, I don't know. JLR, Britain's largest car manufacturer, has been debilitated by a malicious cyber attack, with production lines in the UK, India, Slovakia and Brazil shut down since the beginning of September and scheduled to be closed for the rest of September and the start of next month. The prolonged shutdown of its assembly lines and engine manufacturing in the Midlands and on Merseyside poses enormous risks for the hundreds of companies in the supply chain. One proposal is for the government to buy stock from suppliers in order to provide them with cash flow and then sell it on to JLR when they can resume production. But that's not the sort of government intervention that we usually see. There are a couple of things here that I really do want to urge everybody to think about. Has your business got insurance cover for cyber attack? If it doesn't, get it. And make sure that your systems are backed up, latest version, have the leading software protection that you can, because we are all susceptible to cyber attack. Sam, it's a minefield, isn't it?
It is a minefield, and the point you raised is one I was going to raise about where do you draw the line with government intervention? Because obviously, car manufacturing in this country is a huge part of the UK PLC's economic strength. But if you start doing it for one, then when somebody else struggles or wants to claim the similar thing, then do they just become a sort of a cash cow bank? I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Where'd you draw the line?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with the banks, didn't we? With the financial collapse 2008, bailed out massively, and that's been a real millstone around government's neck. Paul?
Well, I think, I mean, because if we do it for JLR, we have to do it for M&S, because M&S did 300 million, something like that. I mean, it basically took them back, years in terms of profit terms. This is growing. TfL had a big challenge with it as well. So I mean, this is not something that is going to go away. It's kids. It's kids playing around in their bedrooms, kind of going, a bit bored. Let's do this, and not even in some cases for financial gain. So it is a little bit of a challenge. I do think that in these unfortunate circumstances, there should be some form of support. I think there's support for people that are victim of crime. So it's arguable that there should be some support. What that looks like and how we manage it, I don't know. And I understand all of the challenges around that. But it doesn't feel quite fair to lose an industry because of some kids messing about.
Yeah. Would love to say hello to Gary Cambridge. I often watch Gary Cambridge at his sink on TikTok as he
Tales
chats,
from a sink.
Indeed, chats to the world. And Gary, lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Seriously. Now then, okay, final story. The Welsh Group has launched its 12 Pillars of Change through the 2040 Innovation Platform to build a roadmap for zero-emission freight by 2040. The 12 Pillars were launched through a 2040 Innovation Platform at an inaugural event which brought together 12 leaders from across the freight ecosystem to define a practical, industry-led roadmap for decarbonising heavy goods vehicles ahead of the UK's 2040 phase-out of new fossil fuel truck sales. The Pillars initiative addresses one of the toughest challenges in the UK's net zero journey: how to decarbonise freight when there is no settled roadmap for HGV decarbonisation. And it said that debate is often politically charged, fragmented and disconnected from the operational reality of fleets, infrastructure and finance. Jamie Sands, Head of Solutions at Welsh Group, said the 12 Pillars is basically us asking the awkward question: what's it really going to take to get zero emission freight done? Not the glossy slides or the big promises, but the day-to-day stuff operators have to wrestle with. Now, Sam, you are somebody who's massively involved in this whole area. What's it like for a freight operator at the minute, trying to wrestle with thin margins and huge investment in new technology?
Yeah, there's a lot of it in the marketplace at the moment in terms of places I visit and go to talk about this topic, and it's broad, right? There's some people that are saying it's too difficult, and then there's other people that are leading the way, like Welsh's Transport. And there was one line, John, on that quote that you didn't say, and so I'm going to say it if it's all right, because it means the world to me. We're grounding it in the real world because that's where the problems actually live. And I think that's a great sentence at the end, because hats off to Jamie Sands at Welch's as well for all the work that he's doing in showcasing it, and indeed Chris Welch himself too, because they're doing it every day. These are leaders in the industry who are historically a very old family generational business that's diesel all the way, that is fighting tooth and nail to make a difference, and they're doing it by they're talking about it because they're doing it, and I hats off to them. And I think they're great advocates for things like this 12 pillar strategy, because they're the ones that know what they're talking about because they're doing it every day. So I fully support this and everything they're doing, because that's the kind of rhetoric we need from people that really know their stuff. Real world examples of how they're doing it and proving it to others.
And presumably, Paul, we need that kind of clear thinking and real worldism in the commercial vehicle world across the piece.
We've said it for many times, where government have fallen short of our hopes or our expectations in setting out a roadmap. We've talked about it in terms of vans. We've talked about it in the past in terms of cars, as grants have been removed or taxation has changed, and it hasn't seemed to help. but the ownership lies with us that can help people make those transitions. In my case, it's helping other fleets do that, getting into their businesses and talking to them about where the possibilities lie and where the opportunities are. For the guys at Welch Group, they are saying, right, there is no roadmap, so let's make one. Somebody had to create maps for the first time across all of the world, and we've all got those old maps on a wall which are developed over time, and this is exactly that. It's about going somewhere for the first time and creating a map for other people to follow, and that is brilliant.
I agree with you entirely, Mr. Kirby, and I also agree with Mr. Clark. And I found myself agreeing with Mr. Clark far more than I usually do, which
I know, it hurts, doesn't it?
it's
So annoying.
bothering the heck out of me. Anyway, great news, chaps. Thank you both very, very much. I've realised I'm wearing something like a pearl necklace today, which is lovely. I think you'll agree. And earrings. It's a nice match, isn't it? Anyway, if you've got any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from my good friends, Sam, Paul, Sarah in the chat. We'll all be together with our partners on Tuesday next week. Really looking forward to getting 40 odd people in a room, and they are very odd people, to talk about our industry and how we can make the best of all that we have. This has been an EV Cafe production. We do love them. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just funner! The EV Cafe is... Yay, love that. It's truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Schneider Electric, who we will be at on Tuesday for Partners Day. EV Blocks, AW Energy, CPD Bodies, and True Charge. We are the EV Cafe, supporting the transition to clean transport with our friends at Drax Electric Vehicles. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. I'm off to find my wife in a sunbed. I'll see you next Friday. Adios.
Bye.